Coming up next is Fan to Fan, a half-hour sports interview show with me, host Dave Hornfischer. In this episode, we're going to talk collegiate summer baseball with Dave Peterson, General Manager of the Worcester Bravehearts. So stay tuned. This is going to be hard-hitting, and get ready for the pitch. Welcome to Fan, a sports interview show. I'm your host, Dave Hornfischer, and I'm pleased today to welcome Dave Peterson, General Manager of the Worcester Bravehearts baseball team, who plays in the Future Collegiate Baseball League of New England. Dave, welcome. Why don't you start out by telling me who the Bravehearts are and where did that name come from? It's an interesting one.
Sure, thanks for having me on the show. And the Bravehearts are now in their 8th season of existence. And, we had a community-wide naming contest when we launched the team. I've been there since the fall of 2013 at its inception. And rather than just pick a name out of a hat, we decided that we wanted the community to have some input. And so we had over 1,000 different names that were given to us in that fall of 2013. And we narrowed it down to the top 5 and put it out to a fan vote. And this name, Bravehearts, was one of those 5 finalists.
You have a logo on your shirt, if we could.
Yeah, exactly. I got the Bravehearts logo there. And the gentleman who had come up with this idea had combined 2 terms. The word brave, meaning really an homage to firefighters and the Worcester firefighting community, which has seen some terrible losses over the past 10 to 12 years. But also military, police, first responders, this idea of being brave. And then the Heart name was because Worcester is known as the heart of the Commonwealth.
Yes, right.
And so you take the brave and the heart, you put it together, and you get this name Bravehearts. And at the time, everyone thought that it was something to do with the Mel Gibson film.
Oh.
But it has nothing to do with the Mel Gibson
right,
film,
you're not
Braveheart.
William Wallace about to be slaughtered.
Right, yeah, exactly. So it's Bravehearts,
Okay.
and we have done several promotions that are tied to the firefighting community. We're going to do another one this year. And on top of that, this logo is a shield, so that represents the idea of the firefighting community, the police, the badge.
Yeah.
There's bats in the background, and then there's a small symbol there's like a blue collar on the top, and that's because people think of Worcester as a blue collar town.
Okay.
It's a town built.
Boy, you touched a lot of bases with that, I'll tell you.
Well,
it sounds like you got a home run.
I hope
You went
so.
around them all.
And people seem to like it. People seem to like it.
So, as general manager, I bet you do a lot. I bet you wear a lot of hats. Are those roller skates underneath those nice shorts?
Yeah, I forgot. I should have worn long pants today. I'm sorry. I'm in my ballpark attire today because I was at the stadium earlier fixing seats.
Okay.
And people don't think about this, but a seat breaks. You got to fix it because if you don't have the seats, you can't have the people in there. So we're in there fixing the seats. And cleaning it on off days. We're in there doing things like adding new music into the system so that fans get to hear different music when they come in. We've had such a rainy summer to this point that a lot of what I do involves field work and pulling the tarp on the field and teaching the staff how to do that. But when I'm not doing the field work, I'm out in the community, and we're working with sponsors. We're working with season ticket holders, fans, libraries, and nonprofits so that we can get in front of the kids to teach them about why baseball and education can come together with some of the promotions that we do.
This is a real community effort. It really is. And it's probably why you've been successful. Tell me a little bit about the Futures Collegiate Baseball League. There's a number of collegiate leagues around the country, I know. And what's just give me a little bit of the kind of what a collegiate summer league is.
Well, I think the unique piece of the Futures League is that there's a focus on New England baseball players. Okay. Now, everyone knows of the Cape Cod League. That's probably the #1 summer collegiate league in the entire country.
Sure.
I mean, there was a Hollywood film made about it, Summer Catch. And so, those high-end prospects who are in college, about ready to get drafted, will go down to Cape They'll play their summer in the Cape Cod League, and then you'll see a lot of Major League Baseball scouts down there. The Futures League is a little different than the Cape Cod League in that, first of all, the vast majority of franchises are playing in stadiums rather than high school fields. They're stadiums that have 3,000 to 6,000 seats that may have housed an independent baseball team in the past that had left town. So we're talking about not just Worcester, we're talking about Pittsfield, that used to have the Mets AA affiliate, the Pittsfield Mets. We're talking about New Britain, Connecticut, where the New Britain Rock Cats, the AA affiliate of the Red Sox, used to play there, and now it's a summer collegiate team. We're talking about Norwich, a team that just lost its Major League Baseball affiliation. They had the Norwich Sea Unicorns, and then the Vermont Lake Monsters, which was an Oakland A's affiliate. So you've got these beautiful ballparks that are, 4,000 seats. You've got an emphasis on New England baseball players. At least 50% of the roster comes from the New England area, or they go to school here, which means that you're going to see New England talent, kids that play at Framingham State University, Worcester State University, and then the Division II schools like Assumption, Franklin Pierce, University of New Haven, and of course the D1 schools, Boston Colleges, the University of Connecticut, Northeastern. And you're going to see a lot of kids get drafted because now there's a league that focuses on the New England baseball player, where in the past, New England has never been thought of as a baseball place, because all the baseball players are down south.
Yeah, right. And you play your games at it's called Fitton Field at Holy Cross. Do you still call it Hanover Park?
Hanover Insurance Park at Fitton Field. Yeah, Hanover Insurance is a wonderful.
And so you're on the campus of Holy Cross.
Yeah, and that stadium was built in 2005 for an independent baseball team, the Worcester Tornadoes.
Oh, really?
They went defunct in 2012, so they had about 8 seasons there. And then when they left town, there was one summer with no baseball, and the Bravehearts came in 2014, and we've been there ever since.
We have a nice picture of the field here, I think, when right there with a full house. And I know that I went to one of your games, and I was just impressed with the size of the crowd and the youth of the crowd. You had a lot of kids there. It was just a lot of energy in the park.
Well, there's if you took a survey of the people leaving the ballpark on any given night, I would say about 80% of them would not be able to tell you the final score. Because maybe the actual baseball game is not the number one thing that they're paying attention to, and we understand that. Not every single person that comes to our games is going to be a baseball fan. But maybe they're coming for a birthday party. They're coming for a company outing. Maybe they're coming because it's a fun thing to do with the family that won't break the bank.
Maybe their relative was singing the national anthem. I think we have a picture coming up here of, I hope this was the national anthem she was playing.
Oh, sure. Playing the national anthem on the flute, and people will come for these groups. You'll have elementary schools that'll come out to have the second grade class sing the national anthem. Maybe they'll be there because the kids are taking part in some of the on-field contests, or you've got a group that's presenting the color guard. And that's how minor league teams and summer collegiate baseball teams really can pre-sell tickets and build their crowd by having these groups of 30 or more people come to a ballpark, which was very difficult when we were dealing with a pandemic that discouraged you from being in groups. So imagine how that is on the industry.
And you're not paying $100 like you might be at Fenway, or paying $15 for a beer, right?
No, in fact, that's another wonderful selling point of the Worcester Bravehearts experience, and minor league baseball for that matter, is that you can get a ticket between $6 and $10. $10 is front row behind home plate. The beers are $7, then the bottles of water are $2, and the hot dogs are $2.50. And so you're not spending $14 on a beer, or you're not spending $7 on a bottle of water. And so a family can do this. And if you don't want to sit through a 3-hour baseball game, there's a mini golf course there. You play mini golf. It's down in the kids area. Fireworks shows after the game. Kids run the bases. So we have a lot of entertainment that comes with all the baseball.
But last year, you mentioned the pandemic that kind of messed things up, and you played in Leominster, didn't you? I think last year because of the
Yes, we had to move the team out of Worcester to Leominster temporarily. We couldn't have fans at any sporting events last year in the state of Massachusetts. I think the interesting thing about New England is that those laws were different in Connecticut and New Hampshire. And there are teams in our league in those two states. So they were able to host fans, whereas Massachusetts teams were not.
Really?
So instead of going dark for the year, which we thought would have killed us, we wanted to keep the brand out there. We were able to move the team off the campus of the College of the Holy Cross because they weren't going to allow outside events on the campus. And we went to a public park in Leominster, Doyle Field, pretty well known in the Legion baseball community as well, because the Leominster team I know plays the Framingham team. And we were able to play a full, I shouldn't say a full summer, we started on July 11th last year and played until August 23rd, and we were able to play 6 weeks of baseball and get a whole season in and not have one player in the league test positive for the coronavirus.
That's great. Yeah, and it's just so great. A lot of sports leagues were able to continue, and because they just didn't want to stop the flow. Although the Cape, I guess, league didn't play at all. So, let's talk a little bit about this season. You've and we're going to run up some pictures here of some of your players. Maybe you can talk a little bit about them. But your team's off to a pretty good start, I guess. You're about a third of the halfway of the season as we do this on early July, and you go through the middle of August, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, you know, the Bravehearts have always been there in the end. We've been in the league for 7 years, and we've made it to the championship series 7 times.
Really?
So we've won 4 of them, and we feel like the players for the Bravehearts play harder at the end of the summer when other players, they certainly are homesick. They want to go home and see their family, see their girlfriends maybe. They want to go to the beach. They understand that it's been a long and grueling summer, but we do feel that in Worcester, the way we treat our college baseball players, our student athletes, with great host families, incredible food. Our team is owned by a catering company, so they get fed well. You know, team building activities throughout the summer, the opportunity to work youth baseball camps, and it keeps these guys with a positive attitude, and so they're playing harder at the end of the year. So right now it's been a up and down year. It's been a 500 year. You know, we're about 3 games over 500 right now. But as I was talking to you earlier off camera, we were saying, you know, you got to figure out what you have first. So you use maybe the first 6 weeks of the season, figure out where everybody succeeds, and then you start putting the players in positions to succeed in the last few weeks of the summer, and that's really when the Bravehearts have turned on the Jets in the past and made the run to the playoffs and then ultimately to the championship series. So hopefully we have everything lined up to try to do that again this year.
And you have a good manager. I had Alex Dion on here on my show here previously, and he's from the Metro West area too. I guess he's from, doesn't he live in Natick, I believe?
Yeah, Alex is a great kid, Westboro, Westboro native, and so also in Legion baseball circles. He was a coach in Northborough. He's currently the high school baseball coach at Milford High School, and so we're fortunate that he's able to come to us over the summer and be a leader for these young men, and he's done an incredible job so far. And I handle the business, and he handles the baseball. And I stay out of the baseball, and he takes care of it.
Well, let me put you on the spot with some of the baseball stuff, which Alex probably could have answered. When I had him on, he kept saying you could answer my questions better. So we're going to run through some of the players here. And why don't you just give me a little brief overview of here, number 24.
Focus on the baseball, right? We got to make sure that everybody's...
Didn't you sign these kids?
Ready to go, Yeah, so this is, excuse me, this is Julian Gonzalez. Julian Gonzalez from Keystone College, which is in North Carolina. A talented young man who also plays in the outfield in his college, but primarily focusing on pitching for us.
I just like that image of the pitcher there with him stretching out and firing, and you know, he looks like he's ready to go. We've got let's keep moving along here with a couple of the others. We got the catcher.
Christian Siciliano is a Shrewsbury resident, so again, Local kid,
Right.
played for Shrewsbury Legion for several years. I saw this kid in Legion, and it wasn't just his catching style that caught me. It was the fact he was the last guy in the dugout picking up trash after everybody else left.
That matters, you know that, in any career.
I like that attitude.
It is. Okay, let's move on here. Here's a guy who looks like he's ready to hit.
Dakota Harris from Polk State, which is a junior college. Now, his two older brothers played for us, Dustin Harris and his older brother, Dylan Harris. Dustin Harris was drafted by the Oakland Athletics, is now in the Texas Rangers organization. He's a switch hitter, this Dakota Harris. Everyone loves his hair. He's got the long flow going. He plays the infield for us, and I think that scouts will tend to notice him as well. He is an all-star this year, and he is a dynamic baseball player.
Okay, let's move on here. Okay, somebody's stealing third here. That may be a little hard to identify, but it shows the energy and the action of the game here.
Yeah, that's our guy, Taven Kelly. He's from Penn State University.
Oh, I picked another good one.
We do get some wonderful Division I athletes, and so Penn State's one of those Big Ten schools we've developed a relationship with. Power hitter, a gap hitter. He hustles, and he's going to be the first in a long line of student athletes that come to us from Penn State and hopefully more Big Ten schools in the future.
Oh, that's terrific. Okay, who we got next? This looks like somebody being congratulated after hitting a home run.
So yeah, we have a few here, and there's Taven Kelly that I just mentioned in the middle.
Great hair.
Number 44 is Gavin Noriega. He's a student at Marist College, and he was injured for about 3 weeks, but he came back off the disabled list and immediately started adding some pop to the lineup, and he just hit a long home run to right field for us last night that won the game. Now on the left, you'll see Santucci. That name should be something you know about in your household. Santucci, Jonathan Santucci, is probably going to get drafted this year in the Major League Baseball draft. He's from Leominster, Massachusetts, so he was able to play for us for about 3 weeks at the beginning of the summer just to hone his skills. He's currently in North Carolina preparing for the draft, and you'll see his name. He will be the next Worcester Braveheart drafted by our Major League Baseball team. Yeah. He's an outfielder and a pitcher. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And I think this is wrapping up after another win.
Yeah, we have
are these the road uniforms I've got on here, or those home?
These are the home uniforms. The whites, the navies are the road ones. We have Andrew Salima, a student at the College of the Holy Cross, right in the middle, number 20. He's a first baseman. He's been in the league for 3 years. And this year is the first year that he's actually made the All-Star team. And he's a genuine kid, really funny kid. He comes into the office and helps us sell tickets. Home run hitter, left-handed batter. And then next to him, you'll see number 33, Larry Bird's number, of course.
I love it.
Aaron Donna. He plays for St. Thomas Aquinas, which is a very high-ranking Division II baseball school down in New Jersey. We've had a long list of players from St. Thomas Aquinas, and he's a pitcher for us. Really talented kid with a couple years of eligibility left.
Okay, and wrapping up here, I think they're saluting the crowd here.
This is something that happens in our games, and it's called the clap. Every time the Bravehearts score a run, the players and the fans clap their hands over their head, and we do it to a song, to the beat. And so this is something that fans are going to experience when they come to the ballpark. All of a sudden, you might be in a conversation with a friend, and you'll hear this crazy music, and you'll look around, and everyone's clapping over their head. And this is one of the funny little things that happens in summer collegiate baseball.
I love it. This is terrific.
Yeah.
And what do we got? We have one more of baseball, or are we going to move on to the kids' stuff here? Yeah, here we go. So you mentioned about this being a fan-focused event, and I just thought this great picture here of the mascot with some of the kids. And is this Run the Bases or one of your many between innings?
Yep, Run the Bases, and the kid in front here is Bryce Linton. Now these jerseys, this is a really great photo that you chose because we're wearing lime green jerseys every Friday night. And at the end of the season, we're going to auction them off for charity. And we're really doing it in honor of this young man right here, Bryce Linton, who is 6 years old. He needs a bone marrow transplant. He has a rare disease called hyper-IgM. His body cannot fight off viruses and diseases. So obviously the past year has been really terrible for him and his family.
Oh my goodness.
But he needs a bone marrow transplant. We're working with an organization called Be the Match, which adds people across the country to the National Bone Marrow Registry. So all of these jerseys, these lime green jerseys, will be auctioned off in mid-August, with the proceeds going to Be the Match so that we can help him find a bone marrow transplant.
Wow. And we got another fan-related photo. Here we go. This is the whole gang.
Everybody chasing Jake the Lion there.
Jake the
Watch
Lion.
out.
Where did that name come from? Is he the brave lion or something?
Yeah,
Is
so
that
he's a brave lion, and the idea of Jake is a fun one as well. First of all, this picture is of the kids' run. So any family that comes to a game, bring your kids. In the 6th inning, they all get to run across the outfield. We stop the game, and the kids run right through the field. It's really one of the most electrifying events of the night. It energizes the whole crowd. But in terms of Jake, the term Jake is actually an old firefighter term from the early 1900s, where in particularly South Boston, if you were a good firefighter, you were referred to as a good J key. Because you used to have to use a key shaped like a J in order to send Morse code on the call boxes that were on the street corners.
Well, you guys touch all the bases.
So
in the stuff
yeah,
you do.
so when
I'm so impressed.
you know the firefighters would show up to a fire, early 1900s, if they needed to get more crews to come down and help fight the fire, they obviously didn't have radar or anything like that. So they opened up the call box, you take out your J key, and you would basically Morse code back to the base to get more people to come help you. That's where the term good Jake comes from.
I have a grandson named Jake.
So there you go. It's a term of endearment among firefighters, and that's why he's called Jake the Lion.
And then just kind of wrapping up the night at the ballpark. I don't think this is every night, but I think you have fireworks quite often.
Fireworks every Friday night. And I think the great way that this ballpark is set up is that there's a football stadium behind the baseball stadium.
Right, I've been there, yeah.
Right here at Holy Cross, so the fireworks go shot off from basically a 20-yard line on the football stadium, and you're sitting in the baseball stadium, and the fireworks are right there in front of you. It's
we have
great
another
vantage
fireworks picture, too.
Yeah.
And even the players stay around to watch
Let the players come out there
with
and
their green
enjoy
shirts,
it, right?
the Friday shirts, okay. So
exactly. I hope that they get a chance to enjoy some of what they're doing this summer. They should be having fun playing baseball. It's a grueling schedule, but so, let's let them watch a fireworks show from time to time, right?
Dave, you're just an absolute master at knowing the details of what's going on at this place. I can't imagine that there's much that you don't know what happens, from fixing seats to are you involved in signing some of these players or getting them to come here too as well?
Not particularly. Like I said, I leave the recruiting to the coaches. I'm in charge of finding the host families that will house these players over the course of the summer.
You have one for even the local kids probably don't need a host family.
No, but
So
they
that
might
helps
sometimes act as host families. So
that
if
works
they've
too,
got a
sure.
teammate,
You got a Shrewsbury kid or something.
Yeah, you got a Shrewsbury kid that has a teammate
whatever.
that's from Florida.
Yeah,
He'll come
sure.
in and live with them. So as far as recruiting goes, we'll leave that to Coach Dion and the coaching staff. They've developed relationships with some of these schools across the country so that we can get a nice pipeline of student athletes coming to Worcester.
I know I met some of the host families from down in the Cape one summer when we I was involved with an event there. And they just really get involved with knowing these kids and following them through life even afterwards. And they become almost like a junior family member in some cases. And if they get to the big leagues, then that's even more impressive. But
you hear stories about them calling their host mom on Mother's Day.
Right.
Happy Mother's Day. They've really started up some great relationships over the years, and these host families will keep in touch with the players that have stayed there, and you never know, some of these guys become famous, make it to the big leagues.
I know in the game I was at, they had posters of some of the guys who had been drafted. You've had some success in this league and Worcester with that happening?
Yes, we've had 16 players drafted in our first 7 seasons, and hopefully we'll add to that this year with the names of people like Jonathan Santucci. We have one player who's currently playing in the major leagues.
Oh, really? Who's that?
And his name is Aaron Savali. He's a pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. He leads the American League in wins.
Really?
Yes, he's 10-3.
Oh, it starts with a C. C-E-V-A-L.
Yep.
I noticed that. Oh, really? Where's he from? Is he
So
from
he's from Connecticut,
Okay.
but he was a student at Northeastern University, and he pitched
Okay.
for us in the summer of 2014. And when he got his call to the majors in the summer of 2019, basically 5 years after he played for us, I took 4 members of the front office in my car. We drove to Cleveland overnight, because we got the news less than 24 hours in advance. We drove out there, we got tickets, we sat with his family, his sister, his girlfriend. Well, I didn't get a chance to actually see him, but he struck out the side in the first inning that he pitched. And then we went, had dinner, and drove home, because we had a game the next day.
You are
It was a 28-hour trip, and we were on the road for, I don't know, 18 hours.
Boy, those are more than roller skates that you have on.
We got to, it's baseball.
We're running a little bit of time here, and I just want to talk a little bit about that other baseball team that's now playing in Worcester. The what are they called? The Woo Sox, I guess.
Yes,
and
the Woo Sox.
And is that good or bad for the Bravehearts? Is that how does that interface with what you've been doing?
Well,
for
I
8
think
years?
that in terms of raising the profile of the sport of baseball, it's good for the market, and it brings more attention to the city of Worcester, the second largest city in all of New England. I think that competition is good for the marketplace. I think that competition drives the price down for the consumer, and it makes businesses focus on customer service. And so now we have competition, and that's not a terrible thing.
No.
I think it's something that drives us to be better, and it actually helps us to focus on who the primary customer is. And when you're looking at the photos that you just showed of the kids, I think that the Bravehearts are going to succeed by focusing on the families, the family market, the kids who are between the ages of maybe 3 to 12 years old, maybe not focusing on the high school and college age students as much, because they might be more apt to go to a Worcester Red Sox
to see
game.
the players that they may hear of at Fenway
Right,
sooner.
unless
Yeah,
their friend is playing
Sure,
for the Bravehearts.
Yeah.
But it's a low-cost alternative. The Bravehearts are packed with entertainment, things that you can't do in a AAA baseball game.
Sure.
You can't have every kid in the ballpark run across the outfield in the
The
6th
thing.
inning at a Worcester Red
Right.
Sox game, where you can at our place. We can have a pie eating contest on the field. And I believe that is where we're going to succeed, particularly with our youth camps.
Well, that's great. That's great. We're unfortunately running out of time. You've been a terrific guest. I'm really inspired to get back there. The Hanover Park is right off the highway, easy to get to. You probably have a website that's people can find the schedule and all that on.
Yeah, WorcesterBravehearts.com, and the stadium's right across from Rotman's Furniture, that iconic furniture store right off of 290 there, exit 11 in Worcester.
And I hope they're a big sponsor too. So, well, anyway, our time is up. And Dave, thank you so much.
Hey,
You've been a terrific guest. It's great to hear about the Bravehearts. And sports fans out there watching this, go out and check these guys out. This is a lot of fun. Let me tell you, I've been there. I know it. And come back and watch Fan to Fan. You never know what kind of stuff we're going to have here. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Good night.